Ask Reddit. Which cheap and mass-produced item is stupendously well engineered? Toilets. I've been a plumber 20 years and very little has changed, or needed to. Minimal upkeep, cheap and easy repair, very long life. Hey, so what is the difference between my house toilet that just flushes like regular and a commercial toilet in like a doctor's building where if you flush it it will also suck the clothing right off you? Is there a pressure regulator behind the toilet or something? Ooh, this is a fun one. In your home toilet you have a tank filled with water, and when you flush it allows the water to dump into the bowl and flood it, causing it to siphon out. Commercial toilets have either a manual or powered valve that allows full water pressure to blast into the bowl for a set time. It all but ensures it'll flush since anything in the bowl is blended, but it's a more expensive design. The intermodal shipping container, aka the Connex box. There are millions of the damn things all over the world, in use every single day. They are stackable, can be locked together, attach readily to ships, truck trailer frames, and rail cars, and can bear enormous loads. The cost of their manufacture compared to their economic use value over their useful lives is next to nothing. I was on a vessel a few weeks back when they were doing the lashing on the containers, and being in between containers stacked about 20 high would have been so much more terrifying if they hadn't all fit together so nicely. Inside tip, most of those lashings aren't done correctly. The fact that things are fine the vast majority of the time anyway, even further speaks to how good the container design is. Zip ties, such a simple piece of plastic but so versatile. I have one of the old-fashioned chain link fences. Some of the fasteners on the middle poles broke and in high winds the fence was swaying like crazy. A half dozen zip ties on the 3 posts and it doesn't budge and nobody even knows they're there. My son rebuilt the front of his car with them time and again. He's a genius with a zip tie. With not hitting the car in front of him, not so much. Zip tie bumper stitches are pretty common with drift kids. The lighter, spontaneously ignite fire basically whenever you want. Specifically, Bic lighters are incredibly reliable. You can find one on the ground that's been outside for months and they still work. Cheaper disposables break in a million ways and more expensive refillable lighters will leave you disappointed if you store them, but you can always keep a Bic handy and know it'll work when you need it. I have a women's model Zippo that my grandfather got my grandmother sometime around the Korean War. Has gone through hell and back, including being underwater and then under sludge for about 2 weeks straight thanks to Hurricane Agnes in 1972. I have yet to have it fail on me. Soda/beer cans. The design has existed for decades with few changes. It's a way of using a relatively small amount of cheap metal to withstand the pressure of carbonated beverages with a reliable opening mechanism. During pandemic, I also noticed that some companies stopped using thicker material on the upper ridge of the can, probably due to supply shortages. They instead used a sort of stepped system that appeared to be almost as strong. Every few years you will see the can design change as they find additional areas to reduce the use of aluminum. You can still find newly manufactured cans in the old designs in some of the more remote areas with less demand, like Hawaii. It's cheaper to create and fill cans on the island than import them, but the payback from updating to the newest can-forming machines isn't quite there for the volume of cans they manufacture. So they get hand-me-downs and cast-offs. The transistor. I remember how amazed we were in 1985 to see a chip with 68,000 transistors. Now they're at 68 billion. My favorite part was in school my professor talking about how they used to do the layouts on transparencies by hand, or how during Apollo the guidance aspect of the program was buying up a significant portion of the national production capacity of transistors. A lot of the computers were not even transistor-based if I remember correctly. And since the integrated circuit wasn't around yet, they were the individual fingertip-sized transistors if I have my timeline correct. Not exactly cheap, but I'm impressed that I can have a ceiling fan run on high for 15 years straight and not have it explode on me. I seriously startled myself when I realized the only time my ceiling fan had been off since I moved in was when the power went out. You should turn it off to clean it once in a while. It gets sticky dust on it. And to switch direction for summer/winter, edit. Winter mode is also useful in the summer if you have a second floor and open all of the upstairs windows, as it will help push the heat out. I do this for the evenings, then shut the windows early in the morning and flip the fan back to normal.
What? One direction to move air upwards for winter and the other direction to move air downwards for summer. What?
When you're sitting in a spot, you heat up the air around you and your sweat evaporates into the air around you. The more you sweat in the air around you, the more water there is in the air around you. Having more water in the air makes it harder for evaporation to take place, which causes evaporation to happen at a slower rate. This causes your sweating to be less effective at cooling you, because it's not evaporating as quick. Additionally, having the air around you heated up means that it's harder for the heat in your body to dissipate into the air around you through radiation conduction. Having the fan blowing on you directly solves both these problems by keeping fresh air on you. In the winter, having air blow directly on you still helps you cool down faster, which is not the effect you want to have in winter. Warmer air naturally rises to the top of the room. That means if you're heating a space, you're wasting heat on an area you're not occupying in order to get the temperature at human height up to a comfortable temperature. Having the fan on would move the hot air back down, which would help, but you don't want it blowing directly on you as that'll cause you to cool off. Therefore, the solution is to reverse the fan. When it's reversed, it pulls cool air up from lower down, and pushes warm air up. The warm air is pushed against the ceiling, then moves across the ceiling, then down the walls on the edges of the room. This pulls cool air up and pushes hot air down. This helps equalize the temperature of the room so that your heater is more effective at keeping you warm. This is the only comprehensive answer. 90% of the thread is either misguided or doesn't understand how to explain things to people, or both.
You should kill yourself now!
Metal pencil sharpeners, the manual kind, not electric. Don't buy the plastic ones in the school supply section. Go to the art section. Those metal sharpeners are choice. I have a Blackwing 2-stage sharpener. I could do surgery with a pencil sharpened with it. Please don't. For real, there was this tiny, metal handheld pencil sharpener I got from a penciling set I needed for art class, and let me tell you, it was fucking amazing. I just put the pencil in, and twisted it a little bit, and it was sharpened to near perfection. All this, and it barely weighed more than the pencil itself, and it was the same size as one of those Monopoly player pieces. Shame I lost it though, because most of the hand-cranked pencil sharpeners in my high school barely worked, and most of the teachers lacked an electric one. Glass bottles, let's melt this rock into a clear, brittle material and turn it into what? Windows, decorations, screens? No, we're making pressure vessels, baby. The humble corrugated cardboard box, it's lightweight, strong, splash resistant, somewhat padded, doesn't break down in heat/cold, scratch resistant, recyclable, biodegradable and able to be assembled cheaply into any size. The basic design has existed for over 150 years. The retail shipping industry runs on cardboard boxes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, have a nice day.